My sincere regards to one and all here for coming to the conclave and giving your time here. So in this session, we are going to talk about role of education in holistic development, its content and process. So many of us are vice chancellors, deans, directors here, and we have been leading the educational programs in the country. And keeping that in view, we have thought of sharing some content regarding the role of education in holistic development. We keep on talking about development, but when can we say that our development is holistic, right? That is something to be understood. And once we have this content, then what would be the process to go ahead? Yeah. So in this session, I'm going to talk about the basic human aspiration, the program to fulfill the basic human aspiration, the meaning of holistic development, the role of education in holistic development, and the content and process of holistic value-based education. So let me say that I have half an hour time. The content is too vast, okay? But I would like to cover as much as possible. And we'd also like to keep it interactive. So it's not going to be a dialogue, monologue, I'll say, just that I am saying something from my side, but we'd like to enter into a dialogue in this process. So whatever is said is a proposal. Verify it on your own right, on the basis of your natural acceptance. So at the very outset, let me say that this is a proposal, and I'm not saying that this is the proposal, this is our proposal, right? And we all can verify it on our own right. And there is some innate faculty in each one of us. This is something that we call as natural acceptance. And the moment we start referring to this innate faculty of ours, we are able to get very genuine answers. So the point is not in agreeing or disagreeing to the proposal or assuming it as true or false, but rather to verify it. So it is a process of dialogue, a dialogue between me and you to start with. And very soon it becomes a dialogue within your own self. So those of us who have already attended some workshops are acquainted with it. Those who have not attended may kindly try to interact as much as possible during the brief time that we have available. So there are two realities associated with each one of us. One is what you are, and the second is what you really want to be, your natural acceptance. So let me ask one question here. What is naturally acceptable to you? Is the feeling of relationship or opposition? What is naturally acceptable to you? What do you think? What is naturally acceptable? Relationship or opposition? Relationship. From where do we get this answer? Have we tried to memorize this? Have we tried to read in some book and then we are trying to refer to it? Or we can answer this question very much by referring to our natural acceptance. We'll see that in each one of us, this innate faculty is there. The moment we start referring to this innate faculty, we get very genuine answers. Now, vis-a-vis what you really want to be, if you see what you are. So do you think that you are always with a feeling of relationship, or it's something like sometimes opposition, sometimes relationship? What is the case? So a close observation will show that sometimes we feel related to the other, sometimes we feel opposed to the other, right? While every moment we naturally accept the feeling of relationship. So you can see the contrast here. What I am and what I really want to be may not be the same. And this is the sum total of all our problems in our life. If I am not the way I really want to be, right, I am uncomfortable. I am in problems. If I am the way I really want to be, I am comfortable. Can you see this? You are the way you really want to be, you are comfortable. If you're not the way you really want to be, you are uncomfortable. So the purpose of this workshop or this session is to initiate this internal dialogue. So let me start by asking a few questions. So do we want to be happy? Anyone here who doesn't want to be happy, please raise your hand. No one. Do we want to be prosperous? What do you think? Prosperous or deprived? Prosperous, right? And do we want to have the continuity of happiness and prosperity? Do we want it momentarily or every moment? Every moment, isn't it? So this is our natural acceptance. Now, if you look at the state of being, what I am, so let me ask myself, and you can ask yourself. So, what do we see? Are we happy? Are we prosperous? And is there continuity of our happiness and prosperity? What do you think? Is there continuity or not? Yes or no? Yeah. So there is no continuity. If sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm not happy, sometimes I do feel prosperous, sometimes deprived, it means there is no continuity. So we can see the difference between what I am and what I really want to be. So why this gap at all between our desire and our state of being, between what we really want to be and what we are? And what are you doing to fill this gap? Is it getting filled up or getting wider day by day? We'll explore into this, right? So what do you think with the kind of work that we're involved in? Is this gap getting wider day by day or getting filled up day by day? On one hand, we can see that technology is on the rise. So many gadgets are there in the market today. So many facilities are going up. But at the same time, it may be the case that we are not feeling happy the way we are feeling happy earlier. We are not feeling prosperous the way we are feeling prosperous earlier. So on one hand, education is going up, technology is going up, but the gap is also going up. So just try to find out, is our effort to understand the true meaning of happiness and prosperity and ensure it, or is it just for accumulation of physical facility? What do you think? How much time we are investing in a day to understand the true meaning of happiness and prosperity? How many days in a week we are spending for understanding happiness and prosperity? How many days in a year we are spending to understand the true meaning of happiness and prosperity? And how many days we are working in a year to work for physical facility? Can you see this? Yeah, most of the time is being spent for accumulation of physical facility. So have we assumed that physical facility is the basic issue? That happiness and prosperity will be ensured when we have enough physical facility? And what effort are we making other than accumulation of physical facility? It is a serious issue. We have to think about it. We can see that we are not the way we really want to be, right? We want to be happy, we want to be prosperous, and that in continuity. But in place of spending our time basically for understanding the true meaning of happiness and prosperity, we are mostly involved in working for physical facility without ever being able to make out how much I require. And we are not even able to set the limit for the accumulation. We are just working for the accumulation of physical facility. So physical facility is necessary. Here also in this auditorium, we are utilizing so many physical facilities. But one thing to observe is that when an animal has lack of physical facility, it becomes uncomfortable. When it gets physical facility, it becomes comfortable. For example, when a cow gets a stomach full of grass, it becomes comfortable, sits and chews the cud. So if you have a cow in the house, you provide fodder twice a day, water thrice a day, provide a shed to the cow. The cow is very comfortable. What happens to the human being? When a human being has lack of physical facility, he becomes uncomfortable, unhappy. But once he gets physical facility, he forgets about it and start thinking about 100 other things. Does it happen? Let's say 20 years back, if you did not have a house of your own, you were just thinking about owning a house. Now that you might have a house of your own, you are simply not thinking about it, but thinking about 100 other things. We keep on fulfilling our desires for physical facilities, right? When the desires are fulfilled, you simply forget about it and start nurturing some other desire for physical facility. And this goes on. So check for yourself if you feel happy every day that you are getting enough to eat. If I do not have enough to eat, it's a big problem, right? But once we are getting enough to eat also, we seldom feel happy about it. Does it happen? So physical facility is necessary for human being, but something more is also required. Can we see this? Is it all that is required as a human being for us? Or something more is also required? So one point to reflect here is that we can check for ourselves. Is the unhappiness in our families more due to lack of physical facility or more due to lack of fulfillment in relationship? How many of us feel that it is more due to lack of physical facility? We can raise our hands. Okay. How many of us feel that it is more due to lack of fulfillment in relationship? We can raise our hands. Yeah. A close observation will show that mostly it is due to lack of fulfillment in relationship. Even if you feel that it is mostly due to lack of physical facility, I'll take a very crude example here. Let's say there are 4 members in a family and everybody requires 5 chapatis in a day. So the family requires 20 chapatis in a day, right? Now let's say someday there are only 18 chapatis, not 20 chapatis, 2 chapatis are less. Will there be a fight for food in the family or not? No. Why? If there's a feeling of relationship, they'll feed the other first and then eat. But if there's a lack of relationship, right, we'll fight for food. If there's a feeling of relationship, we'll join together the next day so that we can produce more than what is required. But if there's a lack of relationship, we snatch from the other and hoard for ourselves. Now just observe in the society what is happening. On one hand, property is going up in every family. At the same time, property disputes are also going up. Right? Now there is more property, but there are more property disputes. Is it due to lack of property or due to lack of feeling of relationship? Due to lack of relationship. You just see now men and women both are working in most of the families, right? The income of the family is going up. But the cases of fight between husband and wife are also going up. Issues of divorce are also going up. Is it due to lack of money or due to lack of feeling of relationship? So lack of relationship, isn't it? So on one hand, physical facilities are going up, but due to lack of feeling of relationship, the problems in the family are also going up. And now these are becoming a commonplace, isn't it? And just at the same time, try to find out how much time and effort are we investing for physical facility and how much time and effort we are investing for fulfilling our relationships. What do you think? 90-10? Yeah, nice. So it may be the case that mostly we are engrossed with programs for earning physical facilities. And in that time, we are missing out our relationship. So we try to patch up whatever happened in the relationship by going for some dining outside on a weekend, watching movie outside, okay, or taking a trip outside, something like that. But then we are trying to just compensate for the loss of relationship. It is not actually working for relationship. So mostly our time is being spent for physical facility, right? In that process, we are suffering relationship and then we are trying to patch up the discomfort in the relationship. So you can simply observe that the unhappiness is more due to lack of fulfillment in relationship, but most of the time and effort is spent for physical facility. Can you see this? Any reflection on this? You may kindly raise your hand and speak if you have any other view or if you'd like to comment upon this. Is this fine? Can we see this? Any reflection on this? Yes. So this is something to observe very closely, isn't it? So for human being, physical facility is necessary, but relationship is also necessary. Now just see what happens. If a person does some crime, we send him to jail. In the jail, he gets food twice or thrice a day. He gets clothes. He gets shelter. But what does he not get? Relationship. He misses his family, right? He's cut off from the society. The connections are gone. And that's why it becomes a punishment. If a human being is cut off from the relationship, it becomes a punishment. It may not be the case with animal, but it is there very much with the human being. So we want to feel connected. We want to feel related. We want to have fulfilling relationships. In fact, you see that the intention behind also working for so many physical facilities is that maybe by fulfilling the need for physical facility or the other, or the desire for physical facility of the other, maybe I am going to fulfill the relationship. So it does matter to us. We are concerned about relationships, but we actually do not have the program to fulfill the relationship. It's not that it is there only one relationship, okay, with either your spouse or child. We have so many relationships. So we have parents, we have brothers and sisters, we have colleagues, we have people working in the system with us, and we feel related to all, and we want to have fulfilling relationship with everyone. But we are not able to ensure it because in education, this has not been addressed properly. We just try to find out how many courses we are studying in our whole curriculum, right from primary to higher education, where we are talking exclusively about relationships. We are talking about the feelings in relationship that can help us ensure fulfilling relationships, mutually happy relationships. So somehow this has gone out of domain in education. Mostly we are talking about physical facilities. That's why our courses have become largely skill biased. So on one hand, we are developing skills, but on the other hand, if you see the psychological issues are going up, the problems in relationships are going up, the suicidal tendencies are going up, the self-harm tendencies in the students are going up. So on examining carefully, we find that this is a fundamental difference between animals and human beings. Physical facility is necessary for animals and necessary for human being also. However, for animals, physical facility is necessary as well as adequate, largely. For human being, physical facility is necessary, but certainly not adequate. Can we see this? That physical facility is not adequate for us, right? We can't just do with physical facilities. We need something more than that. So in addition to physical facility, relationship is also necessary for human being. So at least two things are required for a human being. For animals, it is necessary and largely adequate. For human being, this physical facility is necessary, but not adequate. Yeah, any reflection on this? So as I mentioned in the beginning, it's not a monologue. It has to be a dialogue. So you can reflect upon this. We can interact over this. Of course, to have a sincere and lengthy interaction, we need some workshop. So from this platform, I would request every vice chancellor to organize workshops for your faculty, for your management. So we have been conducting faculty development programs for 3 to 8 days. We have been conducting management development programs also for 3 days. And we also conduct leadership development programs for 1 day, where we invite all the decision makers to come and sit together and have a view on this. So you can very much see that these two things are required, right? So for human being to be fulfilled, is there anything more required? Can we say that these two are enough, or something more is still required? So although we have recognized the need for relationship, then why do we get into arguments, opposition and fights? Even in the family, with close friends, with colleagues at work, in the marketplace. Why do we have the fights at the borders also? Right? So many fights are being there. Why we have so many wars? Why we have families fighting with each other? Why we are fighting with others? If not fighting, why do we have the feeling of opposition inside us for others? Though we naturally accept the feeling of relationship, why do we feel opposed to the other? And whenever we fight, we want to resolve it. We say sorry, we patch up, we promise not to fight in future, but what happens next? Even though we don't want to, a fight does take place once again. We want the other to improve and the other wants us to improve. Does it happen or not? We become judges of others and lawyers of ourselves. We try to defend our actions by all logic, all arguments, right? And try to blame others. You'll see that many times we are complaining about others, either verbally or in writing or maybe within us. We are complaining about others. Within us, in our thoughts, we can see most of the time we are complaining about others. So we are not resolved within, because that feeling is not stated within. That feeling is not ensured within. And every time we feel that somehow I am right, so we try to defend ourselves and try to blame others for this. I may also be wrong, the other may also be wrong. But since I am not able to have that feeling of relationship, I am distraught within myself. I am uncomfortable within myself. So is this happening or not? Are incidences of reaction, not speaking to the other, not even listening to the other, arguments, debates, divorces, are they increasing or decreasing? What do you think? On one hand, education is going up. On the other hand, divorce is also going up. We can see that there are so many nations which are called developed nations, and there the divorce rates might be above 50%. In our country, at least it is between 1 to 2%. There are countries in which divorce rates are above 90%. Right? So explore your close relationships in the family, with friends, in the workplace, in the society. Is this happening or not? And what do you think? Are we happy being like this? Is this naturally acceptable to us? Certainly not. We want to come out of it. But then what would be the program for this? And can education address these kinds of issues? It has so happened that teachers do feel that this is the task of the parents. The parents have to teach all this in their family, right? Our task is to cover the syllabus, conduct examinations, do evaluation, share the mark sheet, that's all. The parents feel that we are spending so much on education of our children, sending them to schools and colleges. It is the task of the teachers. And it so happens that when we have parent-teacher meeting, parents and teachers will first of all complain about each other, and then they will join together to blame the government, that the government is at fault, right? We are doing our duties, but the government is not doing its duty. So why is it happening? In spite of our acceptance for relationship, why is it happening? What do you think? Is it happening or not? What do you feel? It is happening. Why is it happening? And do you feel that education can address these kinds of issues? So you'll see that there's another thing which is required, and that is right understanding. So right understanding is also essential for human being. For fulfillment in relationship, it is necessary to have the right understanding about relationship. That is, right understanding is also necessary for human being. So if you look at the requirements, the basic requirements for a human being to lead a happy and prosperous life, three things are required. Right understanding in the self, relationship with human being, and physical facility with the rest of nature. Can we say this? Can we say that all three are required? Can we leave out something out of this? Can we go without physical facility? What do you think? Can we go without relationship? And can we go without right understanding? And if these three are met, then do we require something more than this in our life? If you are able to ensure the fulfillment of all these three, do we require anything more than this, or is it sufficient? So in mathematics, we talk about necessary and sufficient conditions, right? So this is necessary also, and with little exploration, you can see that this is sufficient also. And are we taking care of all the three? Or are we largely taking care of the physical facility alone? Does physical facility ensure fulfillment in relationship, right understanding in the self? So somehow we'll see that our education has also got largely biased towards physical facilities. We are developing more technologies. We keep on saying that now new technologies are coming up. Our foreign countries are developing so many technologies. So we also have to keep working on new and new technologies. We have to keep on doing research for developing new technologies. But it may be the case that the problem is somewhere else. The problem is somewhere else, and we are trying to locate the solution somewhere else. The story about a professor that on one night he was looking for his ring below a street light. So anybody who passed by asked him, "What are you looking for?" He said, "My ring has got lost. I am looking for my ring." So gradually, few colleagues also joined him. About half an hour also got spent, but still the ring was not to be found. So someone asked him, are you really sure that the ring has fallen here? He said, no, ring has fallen in the pond outside. Then everybody wondered why you are looking for the ring here. He said, there is no light in the pond, the street light is here. So it may be the case that our problems are somewhere else. And we are trying to locate the solution every time through technology, through physical facility. If the child is not obeying, Alexa, go and switch on the light. Right? If I'm not having good relationship with my neighbor, I'll have to use a CCTV camera on my gate. Are we doing this or not? Right? So many times we are developing new technologies because we are not able to sort out the problems in relationship, because we are not able to be happy inside with right understanding. And every time we feel that since human beings are not dependable, we have to depend on robots, we have to depend on machines, we have to depend on technology. So gradually our investment for research, for developing more and more robots, or more and more technology is going up. But we are not able to change the mindset of human being. And if you see, essentially, education is to transform the mindset of a human being. Education is essentially to develop the right understanding, right feeling in the human being. Animals are to be trained, but humans are to be educated. Can we see this? So essentially, we want to develop right understanding, right feeling in the human being through education. So if all three are required, what would the priority? And working on the higher priority would mean that it facilitates the realization of the lower priority. So what can be placed at number one, according to you? What will come at number one? Right understanding. Number two, relationship. Number three, physical facility. So we have to set this priority within us for our life as our vision for life. And we have to set this priority in education also. We have to set this priority in the life of the students also. That the first priority for you is right understanding, same as mine. Okay. The teacher also has to see this. The student also has to see this. The management also has to see this. The leaders also have to see this. That for a human being, for a humane society, right understanding is the first priority. It is followed by relationship and then physical facility. With right understanding in the self and that ensuring right feelings in our relationship, we are able to ensure mutual happiness. I was talking about the complaints. If you try to look at the complaints within you, they are mostly owing to the lack of mutual happiness in relationship. Can we see this? With right understanding only, we are able to make out the need for physical facility rightly, how much we require, right? And what would be the right way to fulfill the need for physical facility, with which we are able to ensure mutual prosperity. So if you are living with all the three, with the correct priority, then we are living with human consciousness. If we are missing out the first and second and just working for physical facility, it is inhuman consciousness. And with this, we are unhappy within, making others also unhappy. We feeling deprived within, and we are exploiting others, even the rest of nature. We are depriving others, even the rest of nature. So that's why we can see that there are two kinds of people. One who are lacking physical facility and they are unhappy and deprived. And there are some people who are having physical facility at the same time unhappy and deprived. While what we really want to be is to have the physical facility but be happy and prosperous. Where do we want to be? At 1, 2 or 3? 3, right. Data shows that the global food production is 6 times the requirement, but the global food wastage is 1/3 of the production. And the wastage enough to feed 1,300 crore people per year. So certainly this is not a question of production or, it's a question of distribution, this is a question of relationship, and this is a question of education. So basically holistic development means transformation from this lower level of consciousness, the inhuman consciousness, to the human consciousness. Physical facility alone can't ensure transformation regardless of the extent of its increase. Holistic development is ensuring all the three. So with this, we can get the content of humane education. So basically, humane education has to address this need for right understanding, and that essentially means understanding harmony at 4 levels, at the level of human being, family, society, and nature existence. And sanskar means living accordingly at the 4 levels. So this is the core content of education. When we are able to ensure this consciousness expands. Okay, something that I come to understand within me, I'm able to inculcate the same thing in my student, and gradually, right, we are able to work for an undivided society. When we are able to ensure justice in all our relationships, from family to the world family, and this is the coveted states. Coveted state. This is not like, it's not that we just want to be, we want to win over others or we want to kill others. We want to have an undivided society. Similarly, we want to have mutual prosperity in our relationships, and we want to globally have universal human order, the whole world as a family working for each other's happiness. This is our natural acceptance. To what extent we are able to achieve this depends on the program, right? But if we are able to work substantially through education, this is quite possible. So this would be the holistic vision for education. In every institution, we set up a vision. Can our vision at the level of university lie in line with this holistic vision? So there are proposals for harmony at every level, and the process for this would be self-exploration. And the desired achievement would be individual transformation leading to societal transformation. And that would be the mark of human education, when we are able to transform the human being, and gradually we are able to transform the society through this process. So with this, we can decide the graduate attributes. With this clarity, we can decide the graduate attributes as we discussed earlier. So holistic vision of life, socially responsible behavior, environmentally responsible work, and so on. So we talk about the program outcomes, the graduate attributes. We may have to transform them also, with this understanding. Now, I will briefly give you some insight about what essentially the content would be when we talk about harmony at different levels. So when we talk about the harmony in the human being, we can see that human being is coexistence of two different entities. One is the self and the other is body. And the two are in coexistence. How to understand this? So we can look at the need. If I look at the need of myself, I want to be happy. And there are feelings which are naturally acceptable to me. For example, respect, trust, affection, which give me happiness. So my need is these feelings, right, which ensures happiness, and it is continuous. My needs are continuous and they are qualitative. If I want it every moment. If I do not want it, I do not want it any moment. The second reality, which is the body, its needs are physical facilities, which are temporary. For example, food, we want thrice a day, 4 times a day, right? Water, few more times a day. So we want it from time to time, but not continuously. And they are quantitative, we can always quantify them. And my needs are fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling. The needs of the body are fulfilled by physiochemical things. The needs of the body cannot be fulfilled by right understanding, right feelings alone. The needs of the self cannot be fulfilled by physiochemical things. So both have to be understood separately and fulfilled separately. In living, what is the priority? How much time and effort is spent for right understanding and right feelings, and how much time and effort is spent for physical facility? Now what happens if we are not able to address these issues through education? A common misnomer is that we assume ourselves to be the body. The moment we assume the self to be the body, my need, which is continuous in time, which is qualitative, I try to equate it with physical facility, which is quantitative, right? So my need is continuous, then how to fulfill this continuous need through temporary physical facilities, which are limited in quantity? Then I try to make it unlimited, right? And then what happens? Then accumulation of physical facility. We keep on going for accumulation of physical facility by any means, okay? By using unethical practices, by exploiting others, exploiting the rest of nature, by fighting wars, whatever be the means. But we try to accumulate as much as possible without ever being able to make out how much is required. And essentially, we feel deprived. What I naturally want to be, I want to be prosperous. Essentially, I'm deprived. So whatsoever be the limit for which I'm working in terms of physical facility, at the very basic level, I'm unhappy, I'm deprived. And then this leads to a kind of vicious cycle. So there's feeling of deprivation inside. You feel that you don't have enough, and then you make more effort for physical facility, right? Maybe by any means. And then the accumulation that you do is still not unlimited. And then you keep on going for more and more. And just try to check if you get caught up in this loop. It may be the case that our education, if not set the right way, is pushing our children into this wrong loop. And we are responsible for this, right? We are setting the syllabus, we are setting the curriculum, we are setting the pedagogy, right? And we are responsible for this. So to sum it up, basic aspirations of a human being are continuity of happiness and prosperity. Right understanding, relationship, and physical facility with the correct priority are required for fulfilling the basic aspirations. Working for all three with the correct priority, ensuring fulfillment of basic aspirations is living with human consciousness. Holistic development is there when we are able to transform to human consciousness. The process of this development is self-exploration, and basically the role of education sanskar is to enable this transformation. In that process, the students will also learn the skills. Fine. And parents, teachers, and society all have the responsibility of providing such an education sanskar. But if parents and society are not able to provide presently, it becomes the responsibility of institutions of education to ensure it. This is all from my side. Thank you. We can interact maybe after the second session if time permits. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar Sambhavji, for bringing this clarity to each one of us that right understanding is the foundation of education.